this week's Crusaders Coaches Show. I'm joined by head men's basketball coach Dave Daniels, who's getting ready for what we expect to be a very exciting 2014-15 season. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about the excitement of the season that's just about to tip off. How do you feel about things?
Yeah, I think excitement is exactly the word. You know, we're very optimistic. I know everybody is at this time of year when you haven't played anybody else, but just really encouraged with the recruiting class that we've been able to bring in, and then the strong core of returners that we have. So I'm really encouraged and excited and looking forward to this Friday when we get a chance to beat up on somebody else other than ourselves.
You have been focused on bringing in the best team maybe that we've seen in years. So talk about some of the new guys that have come in.
Yeah, you know, again, this is only my fourth year, so I can only speak of the last 3 years. But this is definitely the most talented team we've had from top to bottom, and just, you know, we've added 3 Division I drop downs. I think add a ton, and then, you know, to be honest, we had 3 guys redshirt last year that are going to be really key contributors, fun to watch, really fun to coach. You know, Mike Wright, Buna Injai, and Alex Birkatov are guys that are going to really complement Kevin well, and Maddie, some guys we have coming back with some leadership. But really encouraged with where we are and where we're going.
You mentioned Alex and Buna. They were both in the system last year, got a chance to get a taste of it. And just watching practice, I mean, they are some phenomenal athletes. It's got to be nice to have guys that teams haven't seen play, but they have that experience, and that they can be impact players.
No, you're exactly right. They've been a part of our team, a part of our culture. Our system is a little bit different this year, but they've really jumped in. You mentioned the athleticism. We have some guys that are really athletic, but some really high IQ players as well. And so there's just we're gonna play with a lot more freedom, and we have some basic structure that we want to operate out of. But we have basketball players that are able to make plays and make reads within that. So it's been really fun to coach this level of athlete, and basketball IQ has just been a real joy.
You mentioned some of the D1 guys too. A lot of people, they'll see D1 guys that they played a minute, they played 5 games in a season or whatnot. All of these guys that are coming in, Paris, Eric, and Aubrey, double-digit minutes and playing 25 games a year for D1 programs. How nice is that? I mean, we're not getting guys that aren't playing. These are major contributors at D1 schools that are coming in.
Yeah, you know, and I think sometimes in the GNAC it's a little bit, it can be lost a little bit when you think of D1 drop down, because we have a lot of Division I players in this league. And so I think to your point, it's not just that they were on a Division I team, but they've contributed, they have experience, and they can play. And, you know, and they've been, these guys have really bought into what we're doing and a part of our culture and NNU, and have jumped right in. Now, it's still early, and I think we're going to continue to improve in that. But it's been nice to have guys that can play, that have just jumped right in and embraced who we are.
Of course, we got to talk about some of the returners, key returners. Maddie's back for his 4th year, and then my personal favorite, because he's from my hometown, Fairbanks, Alaska, Kevin Ryma. How nice is it to have 2 guys who have been through this so many times and are big impact players themselves?
Yeah, you know, both of those guys are doing a great job in leading. And when you have new guys, it's really key to have that nucleus. I think you mentioned those 2, and Pole has been a big part of that as well. So to be able to come together and to explain who we are and what's expected to be a part of this program is huge. And both of those guys are they're high quality individuals. They're gifted athletes. They're gifted in school. And so those are the kind of guys you want to build a program around. And so they've done a lot of that. Maddie's just continuing to shoot the ball extremely well, and Kevin has just continued to improve. I think last year was a good building year for him to have most of the load, where he's had to really learn to make plays, and he still is doing that. But I think he's enjoying having a more complete cast around him this year that takes some of the pressure off, but still allows him the freedom to do what he does.
I think we've seen that in some of the practices that we've got to watch. He was very intense last year. This year he seems to have a little bit of that kid playing basketball attitude about him again, which has got to be nice to see.
Just enjoying it, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about the upcoming season. Obviously, the expectations have to be high, and where do you fit into the GNAC race? What's a good year for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's still too early to really tell that without us being tested and playing some games. We have a good preseason. I think that will give us a better idea of that. Talent-wise, I think we're right in the middle of things. I think we have guys that are going to compete with any team, whether it be the top team. And that's one thing about the GNAC is top to bottom. There's no nights off in this conference. It's really well coached and some really high-level basketball. I'm excited and optimistic about that. I think I'll know more in the next month and a half. But this team, with so many new guys and so many talented players, we're not going to be playing our best basketball until into January. I really believe that. I think we're going to continue to take steps and have an opportunity in December and January to really show who we are and really gel and come together. So I'm excited about starting this week, but I'm more excited about in the next couple months when we've had some games under our belt and are learning each other better and kind of our strengths and weaknesses.
You mentioned this week George Fox coming in Friday night, homecoming. How excited are you to show off what you've done during the off season to the boosters, the alumni, and everybody will be filling this gym?
Yeah, no, we're really excited. It's typically a great crowd. It's pretty packed in here, and the guys are excited. We're excited about now being able to compete against someone else other than ourselves, and like you say, the hard work that's been put in. Friday's going to be pretty exciting. They play a real up-tempo, press, run and gun style of play, and so we're excited about the opportunity to compete against another Christian school and that style of play. So it should be really exciting. It's going to be really fast-paced as well.
And then Tuesday night over at the College of Idaho, the big rivalry game. Probably the worst exhibition schedule in the history of basketball. 2 games that you have to win in your exhibition slate. But talk about that game.
Well, they are exhibitions, and I think to a lot of people it means more, but as a basketball coach and as a basketball program, you have to keep that in, I think, in context. But it's an exciting game. The one over at College of Idaho every year is just a lot of fun, and it's not just an exhibition game with the atmosphere that's there, but what a great game to get you prepared for the season. And so we've been waiting a year for this one to be able to get back out there and compete with them, and they have another quality team, and we're looking forward to facing off here.
I think the thing that may be the most exciting about this game this year is you get one under your belt. They've always had 4 or 5 under their belt, and we come in cold. That's got to be a nice feeling knowing that you're going to have that first game rust off.
Yeah, and it's still early, but that's part of it. I think they would have played 4 or 5 games going in, and that's just a difference in schedules with the NAIA, and that's just part of it. So like I say, I'm not putting too much on these first 2 or 3, 4 games. As we get to know each other and get battle tested, I think that's going to be a better indicator of who we are as a team and what the year is going to look like. Those are always exciting at the beginning, but I don't think necessarily either way will be a determining factor of who we're going to be long term.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, Coach. Thank you so much. Encourage everybody to come out both this weekend and all season long. These guys are working hard, and they're going to put on a great show for you this season. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
It was a busy day on the fields and on the court for the Crusader athletic teams as the men's soccer team, shown here, hosted Seattle Pacific on Thursday. The NNU men came up with the 1-0 upset on a Freddie Razzo penalty kick goal, knocking off number 2 nationally ranked Seattle Pacific. The men then came back on Saturday hosting St. Martin's and picked up the 4-1 win on Senior Day. Eric Anderson had a pair of goals. Freddie Razzo and Michael Millay also scored in the win Saturday. The NNU women, shown here against number 14 Western Washington, took a heartbreaking 2-0 loss on Thursday. The Crusader ladies were back in action on Saturday hosting Montana State Billings on Senior Day. They took a 2-0 lead on goals by Lexi Fessenbeck and Nicole Insa, but the Yellow Jackets spoiled the day, rallying for 3 goals late. Lexi Fessenbeck also picked up an assist in the game, giving her a single-season record of 12 assists on the year for the Crusaders. And on the hardwood, the Crusader women's volleyball team picked up a 3-set win over number 9 ranked Western Washington, shown here. The Crusaders' win was the first over the Vikings since 2009. On Saturday night, senior night, the Crusaders were back in action hosting Simon Fraser. The Crusaders picked up a 5-set win over the Clan, completing a perfect run at home of 9-0. The win also helped lift the Crusaders to number 11 in the national poll and puts them 2 wins away from winning their first ever GNAC title. Taylor Van Valey helped lead the way for the Crusaders, shown here. She had 8 blocks in Thursday's win and 3 more blocks in Saturday's win, earning GNAC Defensive Player of the Week honors.
Welcome back. We are joined by record-setting goalkeeper Alfredo Ontiveros of the men's soccer team. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the incredible season you guys are having. Start off with how much fun has this year been? Top 25 ranking and everything.
It's great. It's always a great feeling to know you're part of a winning program. And I think it just builds the whole team chemistry when you have a bunch of guys that are determined to win. And we've had the amount of success that we've had this year.
Coming into this year, you were back, newcomer of the year in 2012. You set a bunch of records in that season. Freddie, newcomer of the year in 2013. He set a bunch of offensive records. Did you guys feel like this was going to be this kind of a year?
I honestly didn't expect this much success. I mean, I knew a couple of guys, but to be honest, the only guy I played with 2 years ago was Austin Thomas, and everyone else was new to me. So I mean, I had an idea of what kind of team we were gonna have, but all the new faces, like I was so happy to have, like Yannick in the bag and Juan back. Like I never played with those guys. I just heard things, you know. So it was fun to actually go out there and see the type of talent we had.
So this year we've got Eric, we've got Freddie, 10 and 8 goals apiece, and then we've got you in the net with 8 shutouts. So, in your opinion, which is stronger on this team, offense or defense?
Well, I get help from a lot of guys back there in the defense, but I'm gonna say if we don't get scored on, we can't lose. So I'm going with my defenders.
It's got to be nice talking about stuff like national tournament and rankings and stuff like that. How excited are you guys for what's to come, which we all expect will be a trip to nationals?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're getting mentally ready for playoffs. I mean, we know we're pretty much in unless something crazy happens, you know. But as far as making a run for it, I don't think there's a team out there that can stop us on a good day.
Talk a little bit about your road back. You played in 2012 basically almost with like a broken back for the whole season. You have surgery. How tough was it to get back to where you are now?
It was really tough. It took like a good 2 weeks to actually be able to walk. So it was 3 months of just doing nothing. And then recovery was just therapy every single day. Like I wasn't sure if I was going to play again. So it was just every day was like, okay, maybe tomorrow. And eventually 5 months go by and I'm feeling good. And I just tell Coach, like, yeah, I think I'm ready to play.
How much fun has it been knowing that you had to come through all of that just to be back on the field?
It's a great feeling. Like I was so overwhelmed the first day back, like that I was actually playing again. Because for a while, I didn't think I was gonna touch the pitch again. I really didn't. So it's exciting to be out here with all the guys and getting all the support from my family and friends, teammates and coaches. Yeah.
What makes you so good in goal? What's the key?
I don't know. I think you got to be a little bit crazy in the back to be able to crash against guys and do all sorts of stuff. I mean, it really does wear your body down, and that's just one thing you just have to push through every game.
Having a guy who's playing as well as you are in net, how much does that help the rest of the team as far as confidence to maybe take a few more chances or to do stuff like that, knowing that you might be able to bail them out if they make a mistake?
I mean, it helps a lot in like psychology of things. Like guys back there, I'm pretty sure they're confident in me in the back, so they probably do like tend to do things they wouldn't normally do, or they probably feel confident enough to like getting out of pressure and giving me the ball back there. So I'm sure I relieve a lot of stress just standing back there.
Let's see, I think we're at 17 career shutouts. Did you think in 2 years' time that you would have that many shutouts, that you would have your name all over the record book like you do?
I really wasn't even paying attention to that. I don't think about things like that. I just go out and play, and a couple months later they're like, oh, well, you have this many shutouts and you're breaking this record. But when I'm out there, I don't think about any of that.
How nice would it be to make nationals and make a run? How important is that for you guys?
It's really important, especially for the seniors, our last year. So to make it a historical one would be great. But I know all the guys have been working hard all year, and everyone on the team deserve it. So.
Well, I appreciate it. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with what hopefully is several more weeks of soccer.
I hope so, yeah.
Thank you.